Hi, and happy National Humor Month. In case you weren't aware, April is National Humor Month, and here we all are already, and we're approaching Earth Day, which is also one of my favorite times. I used to love as a kid Arbor Day, and I think that was in April, although I have recollections of September too, but I feel like it was in April, Arbor Day, when we used to get those little tiny trees that we would plant, and I cannot tell you what happened to any of them. I would love to share a story and say, oh, there's this, 6 foot, 7 foot tree that grows in my parents' backyard, but I don't know what happened to any of them. But it was a great time as a kid. I loved that. This is such a time when the earth is alive, everything is fresh and new, and it feels really good. So April is National Humor Month. April's also Stress Awareness Month. So it's kind of a nice compliment because humor and laughter are good to help diffuse difficult situations, to help us cope with problems, to help us relieve and manage stress. So that's a nice thing. But I just wanted to talk a little bit in this video about a fundraiser that I'm doing and what I'm doing it for. So the Humor Therapy Fund of the Scranton Area Foundation is a fund that I worked with the Scranton Area Community Foundation back in 2005. We started the conversation 2006. I was a graduate student. I was working full-time at Blue Cross, and I was a graduate student I was just finishing up my work there at Marywood University in Scranton, earning a master's in communication arts. And my project, my research paper, was actually on the value of humor. And I kind of knew the value of humor myself. I had always wanted to do stand-up comedy, and at that time, I don't think I had quite tried it yet, but I had performed comedy improv, and then eventually I went on to do stand-up comedy, and now I still do stand-up comedy. Don't really do improv so much anymore, which I miss, but I do laughter yoga as well, so it's in my life. Laughter and humor are definitely in my life, but I knew the value of it, but I wanted to do the research as a graduate student at Marywood, and part of my research, or I should say my final project actually, was to do this big fundraiser at Marywood. This is back in 2006, I believe we did this, and we raised money. And I worked with the community foundation, Scranton Area Foundation, and we created the Humor Therapy Fund. And we put the money in there. And at first it was just set up to be like a one-time thing. Raise the money, give it out to something related to humor. And we set it up, and Jean Bavard, God rest her soul, she has passed on. She was a beautiful soul, because I'm not always easy, especially when I have an idea. I'm German, so I really hold on to it. And she was at first saying, I don't know if we can do this. I don't know how this is going to work, because it was kind of a unique request. And I was determined. I didn't want to let go. I was like a dog with a bone, as I often am. And she worked with me, and God love her, she was wonderful. And we worked together for a few years beyond that afterwards. And like I said, she has passed on, but she was wonderful. She was instrumental. She got the Humor Therapy Fund up and running for me. And so with my graduate work, we raised money, and then the next part of the project, I helped organize something else at Marywood for social workers who have to get continuing education units. And we had this half-day workshop, and we used the money to pay for like materials and to get a humor speaker in from upstate New York, paid for her to come in. And it was a really nice day, and we had a little bit of money left over. And thankfully, Jean said to me, well, you know what? We can make this a long-term fund if you would like. They call it donor funded, which means that I'm the advisor. So I set the criteria. And the criteria really is about promoting therapeutic laughter and humor. And why do I say therapeutic? Because as a comedian, I am someone who does stand-up comedy. I know that, there's so many different arts grants and different types of grants out there. I didn't want this to be something where people could say, well, it leads to laughter, or like, there's a lot of local theater, and I love to support local theater, but this isn't meant to help, local theater do a funny play or something like that. And I don't section them out for any special reason. I just wanted this to be really truly about specifically the humor and the laughter. So, we created it. That was 2006. Ever since, every year I've been doing celebrations in May. The first Sunday in May is World Laughter Day. I've been doing celebrations in the park, doing basket raffles, different things through the years. This year I'm doing a candle fundraiser. A portion of the proceeds from all the candles that are sold by Luminosa Designs. I love working with local businesses. Lisa owns Luminosa, and it's got a nice little shop in Old Forge. She hand makes these soy candles. So we have 5 scents that you could choose from. They're on the link that's on my website, laughtolive.net. And it's also in the blog that I've written, so you can check that out, or always feel free to look on social media, Janine Luby and Laugh to Live. So we're doing that fundraiser now, and that goes through April 26th. Also on Sunday, May 2nd, which is World Laughter Day, I will, of course, be doing some what's called laughter yoga. I won't get too much into that. I don't want to get off track, but laughter yoga is laughing for the sake of laughing. So instead of waiting to hear a joke, it's choosing to laugh, and it works really well in groups to relieve stress. It's like, ho, ho, ha, 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 that kind of thing. So I will be leading live laughter yoga on my Laugh to Live Facebook page Sunday, May 2nd, and I will be asking for donations then as well for the Humor Therapy Fund. But I do want to mention, so what does the money that you donate, if you do buy a candle, or if you donate to the Scranton Area Foundation, which you can do anytime, SAFDN.org is their website, and you can look at all the funds, and you can choose to donate to the Humor Therapy Fund. The money stays in the Scranton area. How far away? Well, our last grant from not 2020, but I guess 2019 went to Wilkes-Barre, so that's only about 20 miles from Scranton. Volunteers in Medicine. The very first grant, though, because it's a small grant, it's a young grant, not a lot of people know about it. So I was working on earning this money for the fund for several years before we ever even gave money out, because not a lot of organizations were applying, and any 501c3 nonprofit can apply, but they do need to have a goal in mind for the money that is specific to humor and or laughter to help their clients that they serve, their staff, the community, or it could be all three. So the first grant we gave out, I want to say it was 2013. The years pass and you kind of forget. Laughing at My Nightmare is another nonprofit. It's based in the Bethlehem area in Lehigh Valley. Shane Burkaw is an amazing young man. He has a very serious spinal disorder, and he lives in his wheelchair. He cannot feed himself. He cannot bathe himself. His mind is incredibly sharp. He knows how to use humor, and he actually writes with a stick he puts in his mouth. I believe that's how he does it now. I know at one time he may have been able to use his hands, but not now. But he manages to write a funny blog. So we paid the Scranton Area Foundation Humor Therapy Fund money went to his organization in 2013 so that they could transport him from Bethlehem to Scranton. And he gave an inspirational speech to the public. It was free to the public at Marywood University. We had about 50 people in attendance. And he talked about how he manages to laugh at his quote unquote nightmare and how we all can do that. The truth is we don't have to have a huge issue to ruin your day, right? I mean, and we shouldn't be ashamed of that. It's not like you have to be living with a terminal illness and that you should feel ashamed for having a bad day otherwise. No, we only live the life that we're given. So some of us have bigger problems. Maybe we're caring for elderly parents who are ill, or maybe your child is ill, or you've lost your job, or you're going through a rough divorce. And that's, those are tough things, but there's nothing wrong. Don't feel guilty about having a bad day because, you're running late, you've spilled coffee on yourself. Now you're going to work with a coffee stain, or you're having technical issues and you can't get on an important Zoom call for work. Those are all challenges and frustrations. And, the little things are what trip us up a lot. So don't feel bad if that's what you're struggling with on a regular basis and you don't have any of the larger issues in your life yet. And maybe you won't, and that's good. So whatever it is that you're dealing with, we can use humor and laughter to cope, to get over ourselves, to get over it. Okay, this is not the end of the world. And for people who do have terminal illnesses, there are women who use humor who have had breast cancer. It's not for everyone, and it might be really challenging for some people, but other people, maybe with some people have said their darker sense of humor, they've been able to tap into it when they've gone for treatments. So, you do you, but know that you can absolutely use humor for yourself. As long as we're not hurting other people, you get to use the humor. Don't let other people tell you, oh, you shouldn't laugh at that. No, you can laugh at whatever you like to laugh at if it helps you get through your situation. We're just, of course, trying not to hurt or mock others, but if it's your situation that you're working through, you have every right to laugh at that situation. So Shane came here in Scranton and talked about laughing at his nightmare and how other people can laugh at theirs. Since then, as I said, there was kind of a lull there. In 2019, we gave money to the Volunteers in Medicine, which helps people with low income with their health care services, and they have a social worker there who was doing counseling using humor. She had a humor basket with toys and jokes and things. That was great. And then this past year, 2020, we had actually a lot of 501c3s applied, which was great. And it was hard. It was difficult. I get the decision. It was very difficult choosing because there's some great projects out there. So we ended up giving the grant last year to V&A Hospice. They were going to do something for about a smile project to help their staff and their clients smile more. And then the Deutsch Institute, which works with adults with different abilities who create art and things like that, they were going to do something using humor to help their clients and staff as well. So again, the Humor Therapy Fund of the Scranton Area Foundation, if you haven't heard of it, I'd love for you to know more about it. Help spread humor. Make a donation if you can. Buy a candle. They're all $20, but a portion of the proceeds does go to the Humor Therapy Fund. Learn more. Reach out to me, Janine Luby, Laugh to Live, and remember that we can choose. It's not easy. I'm not telling you it's easy, but it's up to us to choose how we handle our stress and what we do about it. We cannot change a lot of it. Some of it we can, if we're in a bad relationship, we can leave that relationship. That's a choice. But things that happen, no one asked for the pandemic. So what do we do about it? You can only curse or bitch and moan or, just say how horrible something is for so long. And that's good to vent. It's really good to vent. But then you're becoming a little too negative, you're becoming stuck, and you're not moving forward. So find ways to use humor in your life and check out my blog on laughtolive.net. And I hope you'll get a lot of laughter and humor in your day and your weekend. Thank you for watching.